morning, everybody. Welcome to the kitchen. And today we're going to make Australian meat pie. Here we have all of our ingredients and some of our tools. So we have our onion, and then the olive oil, our ground beef, a cup of water. Now, I didn't have beef stock cubes, but I have this beef bouillon, so we'll use that. And a small can of mushrooms, Worcestershire sauce, black pepper. I forgot the all-purpose flour. Hold on a second, we gotta get the flour. Here's our flour. Okay, and 2 types of pie pastry. So this is ready-made pie crust, which is fantastic, saves you all that time. You don't have to make the pie dough, and it's already in the tin, so it's ready to go. And these are in the freezer, and I got it on sale 2 for $2.50. No, sorry, 2 for $5, so this is $2.50. And then a sheet of our puff pastry, so that's gonna go on the top, okay? And this also is in the freezer. Oh, it's a little bit expensive. It was $6.59 for 2 pieces, so that's a bit much. Key food, unfortunately, is expensive, but if you ever find it on sale, since this is something you can freeze, buy it and keep it in the freezer, okay? So what we need to do is we're going to cut our onion into small chop, and then we got to open our can of mushrooms, drain them, figure out how much, let's see, maybe they'll have it on the label. Since our recipe calls for 2 beef stock cubes, let's see what this can says. 1 teaspoon is equal to 1 bouillon cube. Okay, so we're gonna need 2 teaspoons, okay? And our Worcestershire sauce, so we need some measuring spoons. All right, so let's get going. We're gonna chop up the onions. I have our saucepan over here ready to go. Our wooden spoon, so we need that here. We're gonna use the pastry brush to brush our pie shell with water, then put the puff pastry on top, and that'll glue it together. We need our knife to chop. Okay, so let me get started. I've got our onions chopped. Here is our saucepan. I've put the heat on medium-high. I'm going to add in our olive oil. We want to warm that up. That's a tablespoon. Actually, that's the end of that bottle, so I'm trying to drip every little bit out. Time to get another bottle of olive oil. Okay, and I'm going to put that in the recycling bin. And now I want to warm up that olive oil, heat it up a bit, coat the bottom. And remember, olive oil is a good fat, part of the Mediterranean diet. Okay, that's probably warm enough. Yep, see the sizzle? All right, let's add our onions. We're gonna saute those until they are translucent. Translucent means see-through. So when they look, see how they look white now? When they look a little bit more see-through, that's when we're gonna add the ground beef, okay? So I'm gonna stir this. If the pan's too hot, remember, turn down the heat. You have to adjust as you're cooking. All right, so that's going to take a little while. So here's our ground beef. It is $4.99 a pound now. A year ago, it was $3.99. And this is 80% lean. So what does that mean? If you look over here, it says 80% lean, 20% fat. So you can see right here, the ground beef, you can see the little white globules of fat. Okay, this just means it has a lot of fat in it. You could buy a leaner cut of ground beef, 90, 10, even 95, where it's mostly protein, not a lot of fat at all. It's a lot more expensive, okay? So since this is like a meat pie and it's going inside something, it's, and I'm not too worried about my fat intake at the moment, thank goodness, this is fine. All right, so look, I turned around to set up the table with the crust and unpackaged the puff pastry, which is still frozen, but I didn't heed my own warning. I didn't turn it down, so look what happened. Luckily, they didn't burn. They're just dark, no problem. Prefer caramelized onions anyhow. So, now we're gonna add our ground beef. And we're gonna crumble that in because we want it to cook and break up. We don't want big chunks of beef. We just want this broken up in here. You can use the wooden spoon too to break it up. I'm gonna get all of this in. So I'll use the wooden spoon. I'm gonna wash my hands and I'll start using the wooden spoon to break that up better. So just let me get every little bit in there. All right, so we want to brown the ground beef. And I'm breaking it up with the wooden spoon. Keep breaking it up. This is going to take a while, so I'll come back. All right, so I've browned the ground beef, and that's taken a while. That's taken about maybe 7 minutes, okay? So you do have to sit here stirring it. I broke up all the pieces, and now it's we're getting a nice golden brown color on the meat. Onions look good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our seasonings and sauces. So this is the water, 3/4 cup of water, and the 2 tablespoons of the bouillon. So I put that in the water first. So that will stir in. We want to break up the bouillon. We don't want it to be chunks of bouillon in there. So make sure you do break that up and stir it in. We're going to add our pinch of black pepper. I don't prefer black pepper a lot, so I tend to not use it so much in recipes. So a pinch is more than enough for me. But if you do like pepper, please add more. You can add probably maybe a 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, so if you're somebody who really likes pepper, by all means add some more. All right, now what I'm also going to do is I have to add 2 teaspoons of the Worcester. So I need both hands to do that. I'm going to add the 2 teaspoons of Worcester, stir it all in, Worcester sauce, and we are going to then let it come to a boil and simmer, cook for 15 minutes. All right, so our beef mixture is bubbling. We're going to let it simmer for 15 minutes. And I'm going to add our mushrooms now too. We want those to go in there and get stirred around and absorb all those beautiful flavors that we're going to have in there. It's going to be so delicious. Cannot wait to try this. The green curry chicken pie was good, but it has I've never tried green curry before, so this was new for me. I'm not sure, since I've never had it before, whether or not that is the actual really authentic flavor. It was, I bought that blend from Trader Joe's, so it would be interesting to see how another manufacturer has their green curry and if the tastes are similar. I truthfully didn't care for it as much as I do most things that Trader Joe's does. So again, I'm not sure if that's how green curry is supposed to taste, but that might just not be to my liking. So that's why I'm looking forward to this meat pie, because this is all the things I love. Olive oil, onions, ground beef, mushrooms, Worcester sauce. It's gonna be phenomenal. All right, our meat is boiling away. It's been 15 minutes. Now I have got to add the flour to the water. We're adding 3 tablespoons. I'm gonna use a fork, I'm gonna stir it up. We're making like a slurry. You do this also with cornstarch. Like if you're gonna make Thanksgiving gravy, you put your cornstarch in some water and make a slurry. Then add it to your gravy and it thickens it up. So we're doing the same thing. This flour is going to be our thickener in our meat pie. So I gotta stir that in and get it in.